I want to start with this Warren Sharp tweet because last year he posted the Broncos had the NFL's number one ranked blocking offense. They were number one in run block win rate and in pass block win rate, actually. When they on the non-Javonte Williams runs, they ranked insanely high. Number one in short yardage conversion rate, number 3 in 3+ yards before contact rate, number 5 in yards before contact per rush, and number 5 lowest stuff rate. So Sharp concludes, while Denver has the need to draft a running back with the loss of Javonte, Dallas should have the need to draft a running back after signing Williams. As he currently sits running back one ahead of a small running back room, Dallas has spent the least draft capital on running backs since 2020. Obviously, you had Zeke, you had Tony Pollard in the mix, so maybe that wasn't a terrible decision up until this point. But I think the other takeaway there is just you had Rico and you fumbled that pretty good for guys who couldn't get it done with the best run blocking offensive line in the NFL.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is all in the Cowboys' plans too. They know at the latest in the third round they're taking a guy. They know this is a class to where they can get a guy in the second or third round. I don't think they're going to have to do it in the first round, but I think they have a very specific role for Javonte Williams. He doesn't run the ball very well. You almost never want to hand him the ball. If we have a bagel in the rush attempts column for Javonte Williams next season, that would be a huge win. I think he is strictly a third down running back. Hey, please help Dak not get killed
with the pass pro
and catch a couple balls for us. I think that is his only role.
Let's stay in Denver and talk about Sean Payton, a guy that Brian Broaddus used to work with here with the Cowboys.
And Philly as well.
And Philadelphia, okay.
Yeah.
We go to Mel Kiper. He did a conference call this week and talked a little bit more about his insistence that Omarion Hampton of UNC is going to be the Cowboys pick at 12, the running back. He says, to me, they could go wide receiver, but certainly Hampton's tempting. Denver at 20 has to be sitting there. I'm sure Peyton is sitting there thinking, boy, if we can get Hampton at 20, that would be a great addition to that Broncos team. He said, I'm sure Sean Payton is sitting there thinking, maybe Mel Kiper's been talking with somebody there in Denver. I don't know. But I have such a high regard for Sean Payton's offensive acumen that if he's that hot on Omarion Hampton, it makes me want to draft him a little bit more, Brian.
Yeah, you would. The situation there is if you're Dallas, do you feel like that you're going to? It's I'm saying it's not really wiped out, but if you feel like that you're going to lose an opportunity to draft very good backs as opposed to just good backs, then you would have to consider Hampton at 12. And you like I say, I personally like Johnson from Iowa over him. They're both right there for me. But, this football team, they brought in Hampton, but they might feel like that they have to, without Genty, they get Hampton done, and then at 44, then you address the wide receiver or the other positions. Maybe they feel like that the wide receiver group might be a little bit better towards the middle of the draft where they can get the guy, and the running back is really good at the top of the draft.
You're thinking they're looking at it the other way, though?
I think they might be. I think that's why Kiper is saying what he's saying. That the Cowboys clearly like Genty, but Hampton might be their second guy, and they don't want to take a chance.
He'll be gone.
Waiting to 44 to take somebody that's not in the same class as this guy.
So maybe they really want Hampton at 44, and they're trying to decide if we can't have him at 44. Would we seriously take him at 12?
Yeah,
that would be a surprise, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
it'd be a big shock at this point.
I think they have to feel like that the running back group. It's a good draft for running backs, but the best ones are the ones that are named Genty, named Hampton, Johnson, and Henderson. Those are the best ones at the top of that board.
Okay, because I saw here, we go to InsideTheStar.com. They did a story about your ideal first 3 picks. You went McMillan, Siobhan Revell, and then Quinshawn Judkins there in the third round.
Man, that to me, because Revell is, I have a first round grade, and this is me being selfish. You want them to take the guys that you like. And so I'd love for them, because that would give them, off my board, a 1, a 1, and a 3 is what that would be. That would be a pretty darn good haul for them.
What does Judkins not do that prevents him from being in that group of the Henderson and the 3 other guys you just mentioned?
I kind of feel like that with when you watch Judkins play, I'm kind of in that mode with him as far as, because of course they split time. Him and Henderson split time, but this is one of those guys that, to me, he's got the ability to make people miss. He does have a burst. He does have acceleration. He can pass catch. The thing about him is, I think that there's just some times where, it's a little bit hard for him to finish some runs, and I see a little bit more of the guys above him that have that ability, that have that, when the angle is to them, when they're, to outrun to get to the corner, to outrun support, to get, up the field, to get around the edge. I think there's a little bit more of that, but this guy, he's really, really good. I mean, he's in that next group because of how hard he runs. I mean, I said this guy reminds me of Brian Robinson from the Commanders. Mm-hmm. If you've ever seen Brian Robinson play from the Commanders, how tough he is with the ball in between the tackles, and then his ability to catch the football. But his pass blocking's not one of the best things. He's not as much as a complete back as some of the backs that are ahead of him.
Right on, man. Well, that's a hell of a breakdown once again from Brian Broaddus, the former NFL scout, Super Bowl champion here in the Gbag Nation. There's a lot to learn about these prospects. You want to jump into Draft 101 next Thursday right here at 4131. Brian and Wolchuk and the DallasCowboys.com. They're going to have a Draft 101 session with you, watching the players, answering questions. And giveaways in that include, Whataburger for everybody, but there's going to be a Dak jersey signed and a CeeDee Lamb helmet signed. And all you'll have, it's free. All you have to do is be here next Thursday night at 7 o'clock after our show. All righty. How confident are you the Cowboys will get 12 right? This will be the 5th time over the last 20 years the Cowboys will start the draft with pick 12 or better. In all the times before, they selected a player who earned multiple All-Pros before their rookie contract was up. Brian, should we have more confidence the Cowboys are going to nail this pick? Just let them cook.
I would like to hope so. I'm really encouraged by the fact that Brian Schottenheimer has said that we need to let the scouts draft here, and the coaches will sit this one out and learn what's going on and get a feel for this thing. I'm sure Schottenheimer will have some say in what happens, as they put their stack together. But the fact that they're really, really going to lean on their scouts in this particular time, I think it's what needed to be done. I think the last couple of times out, they might have focused a little bit more on the coaches and their opinion for the players that they've taken. So see the scouts if they can operate here.
Last Cowboys news item to ask you about here before we get to Krusty's Corner. Patrick Walker, DallasCowboys.com, wrote about Sam Williams today. Very athletic edge. Can he still be an impact guy? Would you pick him to be the impact guy, or is Marshawn Nealon have the better chance here going into 25?
Nealon was on that path where he was learning how to rush the passer, which he really hadn't done in college. He got much better at it, then he got hurt, and that kind of set him back. Sam Williams is clearly, when Sam Williams, when he's on, he's really, really good. The problem with Sam Williams is there's the penalties and things like that you have to deal with. Can he get past that? Coming off an injury, how is he going to be? It's I think as they always say, the jury's kind of still out on him. But there were some flashes there where he was very good rushing the passer. It's just there was some that inconsistencies because of the penalties and stuff he was dealing with.
All righty. Thank you for those thoughts on today's Cowboys.